today. Right?
Do you want to come to me closer
Yes,
to me?
I'm there. All right.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. I'm not here, so still not. More.
Okay, wait. Let's see. I think we can see it here.
Yeah,
better.
that's all
okay.
right. Can you turn on the light, please? Then, as the first part of the order. Cool.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another
live stream
with us.
So, yeah, we are still working with all the high-tech stuff. So whenever something went wrong, please let us know. Cool. But at the end, we just want to work further with our
Save recipe application.
Correct.
What did we do the last time, Max?
The last time we did a lot, I think. So we had a page transition to another page, right? We implemented the categories on the bottom.
Which is this.
Correct, these cards down here.
Yeah, and you implement also the provider package. The
provider package, yes, to keep our state currently in sync. I think we have that part up here, where we just keep our categories at the moment, hard-coded. And also, hey Hamish, nice to see you again.
Hi Hamish.
Where we have all our categories inside at the moment. So, and one of the next steps that we could do is maybe add a category to here.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think, but before we start with something new, probably it would be better if we refactor at first our text here. I don't know if you can guys see that or not, but we have a small white background. That was this page transition which we created last time together.
Yep, exactly. And as you can see, we made it very smooth and very small, but that will come later if we have actually some categories that we can add here.
Yes. So I will just close
everything. We actually want to add categories, or do we want to add a recipe to the different categories?
We want actually add recipe to different categories. The categories, I would say, we will provide for the user, which means probably maybe something like we have a list, and the user, when he wants to add this recipe, he can choose the category for each recipe. Okay. Yeah, this is what I think.
All right, so I think very good. And you?
Hi, Amar.
Hi, Amar. It's pretty full today. So what I would say is, inside of our category model, we need also something that he keeps our information about the different recipes, right?
Okay, this is the category model, and that's the recipe model.
No, exactly.
So each category will have a name and an image which we provided, or should the user can provide select an image for the category?
That's a good question. I think we can make both. I would give the user the opportunity to select an image, to upload maybe an image somewhere.
Or what do you think if we, at the beginning for now, we will provide the image and we will upload the image for a recipe. Okay. And at the end, when we go further, we can also make this one optional.
Sure, we can do that. What do you think, guys? Are you happy with that approach?
Okay. Do you know about Velocity
X? Yes, of course. The Velocity X is amazing. My Wi-Fi is off. Yeah, exactly, because we have a cable. We're on hard internet today, so that everything works smoothly.
You guys can see here.
Yes.
Okay.
Velocity X, yes, I saw it. It is a very interesting option to create text widgets and everything. So it is pretty amazing. Hey, Ogrin, nice to see you around again.
Hello.
And yeah, so the Velocity X, I highly recommend it if you have a lot of text around. Very good. And you? If you have a lot of text and you want to make it possible that you have way more features there. I heard two opinions there. One is, well, the problem is that Flutter is pretty...
Sorry, Max, can you explain us what is this package?
Sure.
What does this package do?
Yes,
I don't know that. I didn't hear about it.
Yeah.
Probably it would be helpful for everyone.
Yeah, sure. So Velocity X uses extension methods from Dart to provide a possibility to surround different widgets without that you see it. So it is more like you have a list where you say after that dot where,
Okay.
and then dot map dot something to list maybe. So you can have chainable methods besides of each other. And that allows you, for example, for text widgets to write the text. And because the text itself is wrapped in like such an extension method, you can just say dot and then, for example, font size something. And then you can say dot text style, whatever you want to change. And you just pass the separate parts inside. And with that, you have like the text, and then you have dot something, dot something, dot something.
Was it like cascade notation?
Some kind of, yes. It works in a similar way.
Okay.
The benefit is that the text is getting, it should give you another option how you can wrap your texts. Because now if you create a text style, right, you create usually like text style, then inside a color and so on and so forth. And that is very verbose, right?
Okay, which means if we would use this package, we can have here, so for example, our text. And here I will just
correct. Then
write a dot or double dot. I don't
just
know.
one dot in that
dot.
case, yeah.
And you can after that go for example the style of that.
Not style, you would say font size, for example.
For example, yeah, okay.
So more specific, exactly. You can directly read what you want to have. Yeah, because it tries exactly. It wants to improve the things like in Swift UI, and it tries to get rid of the verbosity that Flutter has.
Okay.
Yeah, because we want to, or we usually have a very big overhead of widgets. And we have a nested widget inside of a nested widget inside of a nested widget.
Yeah.
So text is just one example for VelocityX. You can do it with multiple things. So for example, you can have a container, and then you say dot with. And then dot height, and then you can have it more like a chainable method down there. It's a very interesting solution for our problem that we have. I'm not sure if this will be the final way to go, but yeah, as Amish writes already, Pavan Kumar works there a lot with it. I saw there a lot of different talks already about it.
Okay.
And it's very interesting to see that there is more options there.
Great. So probably, I don't know.
Why do you think it is perfect for responsive UI? I'm not sure about that, to be frank.
Okay, Hamish said.
Yeah.
For the responsive UI. Okay, so in the time that we are waiting for Hamish's answer, I will search for the white box or white background of our category names, to see if we can fix it. So
I'm sorry.
We have a list.
I didn't know that it is it does such a thing like you concentrate on that. I keep talking with the chat today. You do your stuff. I'm talking with everyone. That's perfect. Okay, I didn't know that VelocityX provides that possibility to have adopt to the screen sizes. I have to take a look into it once more.
So let's see what we have here.
So
okay,
that looks interesting.
Let's see what we have here. We have here a list view separated, which we used for the different categories, and we have here a wave border card widget which we created, and here we will have the name, and the width of our card is 200.
Yes.
So if I'm going in the waveboard card, we should see here the container, and where is the name?
How is it coded? Well, to be frank, just look into the repository from it, right? I think that would be the easiest way to see how the library works. And if I open that up now, you can see it's mostly coded in extension methods. So most of them are extensions methods that extend different classes. So let's give it a second if I find it. Yeah, exactly. So for example, if you take a look here, I post that in the chat. Oh, I'm Mahtab today. That's nice. So if you take a look here, for example, where we are in the GitHub repository from the VelocityX, you can see it is written with an extension method that overrides different widgets, or in that case, it overrides a string. And then you provide more or less different options to that string. And this gives you the high quality of working with that VelocityX. An extension method overrides more or less the string itself, or the class that you pronounce itself. But that is a very big topic. If you want to know more about that, there are pretty good examples from the Flutter team and the Dart team where you can read more about it.
So, meanwhile, it's okay?
Sorry.
If I tell you something I did. We had here, as I said, we had a white background here.
Yes.
The problem is that we have to use the material widget. We should wrap our text widget in a material widget. Otherwise, I don't know if you saw that or not. If I don't use the material widget and I click on our category, everything is working fine. But when we go back, you can see that the text gets red. And
so it needs to get wrapped inside of a material.
Problem, yes. We should wrap it in a material widget, and I just defined the color transparent for that. I'm not sure if this is the best approach for this problem, but this is what I found. If you have any other suggestion, that's probably we can...
I think as long as we don't have any categories, we can keep with that, how it works, right?
Yeah, but if you guys have any better idea, just let us know. Perfect. So this one is solved, and the next thing that we want to do is probably, how about if we are going to create a recipe?
Correct. Okay, let's do that.
So we have already here the plus button, but I think, as far as I can remember, this is not a button, this is just an icon. So let's see here. Okay, we have an icon button. This is work, so let's see. Okay, this is actually a button. Icon button works, provider.
Ah, yeah, it just already adds a category model to Italian. So that correct. But we don't actually want to have that, right? Because it makes no sense. It doesn't solve anything.
This is the reason why we have so many Italian.
Yeah, I like Italian food.
So, but this is not actually what we want to do. What we want to do is to navigate to the next page. Yeah. Probably with input field for the new recipes.
I think that makes sense, right, guys? So what does a recipe makes for us? So what is a recipe for us? It's something with a name. It's something with what should we have? What should we consider for a recipe?
Okay, the recipe. My initial idea was to, if we find the recipe in the browser or in our phone, I would like to have a screenshot from this recipe. Okay. And give it a name, give it a category, probably in future the time that it takes for cooking, and that's all.
Okay, name, category, and an image. So is that
name,
correct?
Category, and an image. Yeah.
So I would start with that, or?
Yeah. So go for it.
What are these for crazy icons?
Ooh.
Never seen that.
Okay.
But hey, Talanga.
Hi.
So
hope you are doing well.
Okay.
So we don't need the Italian one. I will just delete this one. And I would create a new screen. New or add recipe screen. Add recipe screen.
I thought today about to create an emote wall so that when someone posts an emote inside of the chat, that it's getting displayed directly in the stream.
Does it work?
Not yet. I'm still working on it.
Okay, add recipe screen. Here we go.
But as you know, when someone subscribes, we will see that now. So it's getting better. Every stream it's getting better.
Add recipe screen. And what we need is the material. widget.
Okay, so we work with material here. Okay.
Okay, so I'm going back to the dashboard.
Mhm.
And here we go. So we don't need the print thought anymore.
If you press Command X inside of a line, or Command X, better said, you directly delete the whole, or cut the whole line. I think that's sometimes a bit faster.
You are right. So, what we want to do is the navigate. What's the routing or what's the navigation? I don't know anymore.
I think till now we just have the normal navigator.push, where we just add something on the list. Maybe we should also enhance that with a real navigation system with routing and everything.
Okay.
Ooh.
That was
careful. First, you have to pass by the context, right?
All right. And here I need. Was it? I think it's the material.
Correct. The material page route is what we need.
Material page route.
Correct.
Okay.
Oops. If you wonder why I'm looking always on the right side, it's not because I don't like you, it's just because the other laptop is here, so I can right away have an eye on the stream, on the chat and everything. So when you have questions, just let me know. I will ask Mahtab whatever I can.
Okay, we need a builder.
Okay,
Oops.
Well done.
Okay, let's bring it.
Oh, you see, Fabrice helps you, so...
Perfect. The context. Okay, what I need is the context, and after that, the new screen, right?
Correct. You return the new screen in that case.
Add recipe screen and see if I think I missed something.
You don't return. Right. Or if you do it like Favis tells us, you can just
with the fat arrow.
Yes, with the fat arrow function. That
Probably
would be...
is better idea.
Yes, I think so.
Oops.
We are a bit nervous today, guys, because seconds ago we moved the whole computer. Yep, you shift and up here.
Okay.
Still my laptop, so Mahtab has still to struggle. Yeah, but as I said, we moved the whole computer and everything with our stream software and everything to the other room so that we have a bit more space and we can work better with you. Okay.
So, great. Let's see if this one is
working.
Be
mindful, you still have their semicolon too much. I think you don't need that.
You are right.
Cool. Everything is built. Perfect.
So. Sorry? What we implement is for our add button.
Yes. Does it work?
So something is not work. Reduce the number.
No, this is not a problem. Just click it once more. Let's see.
Sometimes the hard reload will help me.
Yeah. Still not.
Sometimes not.
Because what has add recipe inside as add recipe screen? The last time we had this issue that if it's completely empty, then we get some issues. You remember?
Right. Yeah.
Maybe this is the problem.
So, which means, for example, for now...
We will do Amish in a second. I will remember her.
Okay, I need, for example, I will just give it a height.
I would recommend just give it a scaffold for now or something.
Yeah?
Yep, we need anyway a new scaffold, right? Or...
That's right. So, oops. Sorry. A scaffold.
Oh, so you can see now it navigated. Yep.
Okay.
So press on the plus and we get navigated. Perfect.
Perfect. Max, I have a question. Normally in the navigator, it's I think automatically it's implemented from the Flutter that when we have the navigator push, we can use also the navigator pop.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
And we have normally here a back button or back file for that.
Yep.
Is it just there when we have an app bar, or why I can't see that now?
Yes, exactly. So we need an app bar if you want to navigate back via the back button, because the app bar has like an automatically function that checks the navigation stack or the stack of the navigator. And as soon as you jump onto a page, that stack gets a new layer of view, right? and the app bar will recognize that.
Okay.
If you don't have that, you can of course implement it yourself. So you can create something like a check against the navigator.stack. And if it is not empty, you have the possibility of popping.
Okay, great. So thank you for that.
But I think Amish is right. If you add here behind the parentheses as comma, he's very happy. So, and maybe
Much
also there
better.
another
Here
one.
we go.
Yeah, so
Just to make you guys happy. Are you happy now?
Perfect.
So, okay, we have now the recipe.
That's a good question.
How can I play animation of navigator pop and navigator push?
Do you have an answer for that?
How can I play animation of... Does it mean that instead of going forward, we are going backward? I don't know. I don't understand the question, to be honest.
I think Amish means that we, how is it possible to have a different page transition on pop or push? Or if this is even possible.
Okay, that's gonna be the custom page transition?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
So we did that the last time, if you remember. I think for the navigator.push on the different categories, we added already a custom navigation. I think
we had here the navigation push with the route page and
with the page route builder with the transition one.
Page builder, yeah. And we did here the slide transition, for example.
Correctly. And I think I'm pretty sure that also pop works the same way. So if you have instead of up here a push, you could also add a pop here and you have the same more or less behavior, right? So now the custom behavior that we created here is now on top of a push of a pop action. Does this answer your question, Amish?
So that means instead of a usual transition that we have from the material,
correct, we have a custom one. And you can do whatever you want. The only thing is, what I could else imagine is that Amish maybe wants to have any animation that creates on page transition or pop. And for that, you would use an animation builder, actually, because an animation or tween animation builder even. With that, you can have custom animation whenever something is built on your screen. So for example, you come onto a page on a web page, you sometimes want to have that fly-in effect from down so that it looks like the web page getting built up. That you would solve with a tween animation builder, because you can say something like, okay, you have an animation from 0 to something, or visibility 0 to something. And then after a while, when you come to the page, this navigation will happen, or that animation will happen. And yeah, this is how the animation package from Flutter team works. So if you don't, or what I can recommend is take a look into the GitHub repository of them. They really made fancy stuff with animations. It's really cool.
So, correct. What we want to do as next? So we can
work here.
Okay. I think, Max, we didn't create a design for our form here. I think it's not a bad idea to have a form here at the moment. Probably something like,
I think you probably have to implement it yourself, Amish. So you would use the animation builder, and if you want to have it vice versa, that it's from the end to the start, or the different way around, you need to develop that logic somewhere, and then you can use that. Yes, but go further. Sorry, I interrupted you. So you wanted to start talking about how we can add a recipe, right?
Yes.
So we started here already.
Yeah.
How beautiful.
We didn't complete the design for that. It's gonna be probably just for now a title, a recipe, and we will need a text field for the name of the recipe. We will select the category of the recipe. And at the end, we want to select a photo, which gonna be our recipe.
Yes.
And after that, a submit button or a cancel button.
Okay. So maybe I can start with that quickly, because I usually am the designer. So let's go. So we have like a box where we have the image inside. Maybe we have a big image from a photo icon or something inside. So I just represent that by this beautiful rectangle here. And we have these two things. One of them will be a drop down. So if we click on it, I would like to select the categories
Yes.
that are already existent. And the other one will be a text widget where we just enter a text form field widget where we just enter our name. So recipe name.
For
Yep.
example.
And the other one will be the
Category name.
yeah. So good. Okay, so we have these two. And do we need anything else for our recipes? I think that's for now pretty good.
I think it's enough for now. Probably just a confirm button or
yeah.
add and cancel button or something
I think
like
a
that.
cancel button is not necessary because we can always push the back button, right?
Yes,
and I think maybe
but we don't have. Yeah, this is what I want also to say, that we don't have an app bar. So
yeah, but a
back
cancel button makes not so much sense. I would say maybe we should add a back button also on top of here.
Yeah.
Because as far as we know, iOS users don't have usually that possibility of navigating back so easily, right? They just have the home button, and to force someone out of your app just that you can go back in your app wouldn't be a nice solution.
Okay, so it is. I think the add a recipe again doesn't make so much sense. Or
Okay, so confirm or submit is always a good name.
Submit is better. Submit.
All right, so we would start with that screen, and maybe we should also rename that to add recipe. You think a cancel button down here would add more user friendliness to it?
I would say if I
I've never
start
seen that,
with that,
but we can do that.
how about
As you
that?
wish.
If we have some, for example, do I have anything that I can add or cancel it?
Oh, look at that! We want recipe rating. That sounds like a cool idea. Yeah, with stars maybe. That's a cool brand.
Yeah. The recipe, but I think it's gonna be part of maybe
the recipe
the
itself,
category.
right?
No, okay.
I think if you are inside
recipes
of the recipe, so like if you are here, we would have some. I do it now with rectangles. I think I don't have stars here at the moment, so we would have like a 5-star rating for each recipe. And yeah, if you want to share it with your friends, or if you have yourself something. So I do that very ugly right now. Sorry for that.
That's fine. We can just copy and paste it, Max.
Yeah, that's all right. We don't have to. I think most of them or everyone will understand what we want to achieve here. So that would be some stars. And hey, I did my best. And that would give the possibility. Oh, perfect. So iOS, we should swipe even. So that sounds also like a good option.
Now we have 5 stars. Okay, what was the
Perfect. Nothing, but Amish says that if we want to go back, maybe it's even better if we make the possibility, if we are on Android, iOS, we just swipe back.
Oh, yeah.
But to have a cancel button, I'm not sure with that, but we can discuss that. I think that's a personal feeling.
But this is a good feature, I think. So I would say we can start. There's gonna be a column with many things. Add recipe screen.
So, okay. Yeah.
We'll have a button, we'll have a column.
Explain what you are doing. Why do you use a column here? What's going on?
So, to be honest, I thought we will have here for the different text fields, we will have different text fields and a placeholder for our image and at the end a button.
Okay.
And I think...
Or 2 buttons.
Or 2 buttons. It depends.
Oh, is it? And
we can use a column and just the children gonna be our fields.
Okay.
Just now, I have a question. If the add recipe is the title of this page, or does it gonna be the part of our app bar?
We don't have an app bar yet.
No, I mean in this page. I mean, if you want to later add a back button, it's gonna be a part of also app bar, or?
Correct, but the question is, do we want to use the default app bar that is already existent? That would be the easy solution that we could, of course, could do. So we would have that app bar up here. But the app bar is always very specific for different screens, and the most people know exactly how we use them. So I would keep it with that so that we just have this here.
The title? Okay.
Yeah, just as a title. And if we want to have a back button, we create it ourselves. Yeah, like a custom app bar. And that would be one option that I would suggest.
But we have at the moment the sliver app bar for our first.
Correct. For this screen, for our dashboard, we have currently a sliver. And so we have also the sliver app bar, which is the top part here. But for the add recipe, I wouldn't make a sliver because I hope we can fit everything in one screen.
So I'm going now with just a column, text field, and so on. Okay?
Yes, Amish, I see it the same way. Yeah.
What does he say?
He just said that our whole app don't have an own app bar, so we would use like creating our own kind of an app bar.
Okay, so great. Hello, Oscar.
Hey.
Amazing. So the first one gonna be a text, right?
We can work like that, yeah.
Okay. Add recipe. We will have a style.
Wow, 9 viewers. We are famous today.
And probably we need here font size with 24. And let's see, before I'm going too far, how does it look like? Okay.
11 even, wow.
Great, so we will have it.
So we have some issues already.
I will, main axis alignment to the center.
But our Adobe XD or our design don't replicates that, right? So now we have that in the center. But actually we don't like it that it's on the top right, so or on the top left in that case. So
I want to bring it in the middle.
I just want to bring it a bit inside, but a bit bottom, deeper.
Okay, probably just I need a padding here.
That would be one solution. I would first start with giving the scaffold maybe or the column a safe area. So the safe area keeps you from these, I don't know the name right now, but the higher top bar things. And then we can have there a bit more. And with that, we already are outside of that. And the center, you can for now remove. Exactly.
Okay.
So now we are actually inside of the screen. If we want now to push it a bit down, we should add padding for that.
We can use padding, but what I thought is we will have, this is a column what I created. There's going to be a text field and placeholder and so go on. What we can probably use is also the main axis alignment with space between, or
we could try that. Yeah, sure.
Okay, but if we use that, the space between all this, we're just gonna be the same. But
yeah,
okay.
And Faves once more explained what the safe area is for. So it keeps you away from notches and all these problem areas that a phone usually has.
Okay.
And with that, you can surround these problems.
Great.
Cool.
Okay. The next one is, not in the text.
Okay.
Yes.
I would now start to align that correctly so that we can go to the next parts that we want to add. So for now, just think about how the text should be aligned. Is it correct? Is it on the right side of the screen?
It's on the left side.
Yeah, but if you take a look into the design once more, will see that we have on the left, on the right, we have a little bit of space.
Okay.
So, and also on top of it, it's also a bit of space, right? Because we removed the safe area, of course, but still we want to have a bit breathe, or the elements want to breathe.
So I would say we need here padding.
Correct. Yes,
and
I think so too.
And the best thing I think it would be to surround our column with padding. And maybe.
Do you actually want something to drink? I don't know where your water is.
I have that there.
Oh, on the other side. I just bring it over.
Okay. I think our design didn't make it exactly so that I can use just the padding that I have in my Adobe XD.
Oh, but I just would keep the one that we have already in the first screen. I think in the first screen we had like 10 pixels or something.
Oh, is it? Oh, you mean here?
Yes, I would absolutely keep that consistent over the whole app.
Okay.
Because if we change that all the time, you can't see that here, but you have to jump into the code, of course, as always.
Yeah, but I think we took the 20 pixel.
Yeah, I think so too. But to keep that always aligned, because that is good for the users and they really like that. Good.
Right.
Okay. So now we can start with the next child, I think, that we want to see.
Perfect. The next child is text field, right?
Correct. 2 text fields.
To be honest, I didn't know that we have also a text field, but it's fine. Okay. I think we can have here the leading or something like that for the icons.
Are there icons?
No, we don't have it, but I would like to add.
Okay, but I would stick with the KISS principle. Keep it as simple as possible for now.
Okay.
And if we want to enhance it later, we can still do that.
Okay,
so
it makes
do
sense.
it this way. I think that's easier. But what we could have is like a text inside that says us what we want to enter here, like a label or something.
To be honest, I searched for that. Do we have label here?
It is a bit hidden. It is inside of a decoration of the text form field.
Is it again box decoration?
Nope. It is an input decoration in that case.
Input decoration.
Yes.
Perfect. So, and let's see
what. Sorry. Yep. Of course, it is hint text, not label. But I think there's also a label, or not?
Hey guys, you are amazing. Thank you very much. Okay, I think it's gonna be a text, or is the string? Let me instead of just write everything, it's a hint text, it's a string.
It's a string, yeah.
So here we go. And what did we write?
Recipe name. Creative as we are. Yeah. So now check if there is a label, because I thought if we have a hint and I click on it, the hint, and write now something, the hint is getting hidden. It's away after that.
Okay.
And if you add here instead of a hint,
the label, it's going to be smaller on.
It's getting smaller on top.
Bottom.
I don't think so.
Bottom of a text.
Just add a label text and let us see how it works. But I'm pretty sure,
label text, and let's see.
How did you bring up the How did you get the information if this is a string or is one question?
What I did is actually just go to under text, for example, the label text, and after that just Control J for that, and you can see that the type is string. Yes,
so Control J is the one. And if you are working on a Windows computer, you can use Alt and Q. Alt and Q.
Alt and Q.
That should work also.
And you can see the hint.
Or Command B and jump inside. It's also
yes,
as
for
always
sure. If
solution.
I do the Command B, I will jump into the widget and we can see what's going on here. And after that, with Command W, I will close. Okay, so let's see what's the taste.
So I hope this is okay for everyone that we always talk with the keyboard shortcuts, but I'm a big fan of explaining them because it increases the productivity a lot.
Oh, something happened.
Yeah.
I think that was a new subscriber, or
was it? I don't know.
I don't know. Okay, so let's see. If I just remove the other one.
Exactly.
And I will.
So
okay.
As soon as you focus now, the one, it's getting up there and it's getting it gets selected, and it's also taking the color of the selected color. And it's the emulator notification noise. So something happened inside of here. Most likely any upgrade or something. Thank you, Faris.
Thank you.
Cool.
I think you can be happy. You got a new subscriber.
So,
it didn't happen. Okay.
Exactly. So we can choose if we want to have the label or the other one.
To be honest, I'm more happy with the label.
Yeah, but then enter the right text.
Yeah, it's more fancy.
Cool.
Okay, recipe name. This is the first one. And you guys should use this plugin. It shows the shortcuts. Oh yeah, okay.
Yep.
Next time we should just
shortcut command or something.
I think you have it, oh?
I had it already installed. Yeah, I removed it again because it made a lot of troubles.
Okay, and we'll have the category name. That's next.
Yep.
Again, and I think, guys, no, it's much better. Decoration, again, the input decoration, and I will have a label text, which is the category name.
Okay, so but did we want to have actually now the possibility to write it down, or do we want to have a selection of them?
We want to have actually a selection of that,
okay.
Which means that is the, what's the name of that when you click and you have the selection? You can select different options.
Maybe we have to Google it. I don't know. Maybe a selectable widget or something. Selection widget. I think there is one for Cupertino and one for Android Studio. Maybe we can implement both of them.
Selectable list. Flutter.
Nice search terms.
It's not so often that we come with the good ideas for searching. But
so articles, list view, multi-selection list view.
Select item in the list view and Flutter.
I think they are all not.
List style, selectable text.
No, they are all not that what we need, I think.
Drop down.
Drop down. Yeah, that could be something.
Drop down button.
That was the one. If you click on it, you get a list of different things. You can select it. And I think, yeah, exactly. So you can use it up there. I think you can try. Or is it inside of the code pen? Here.
Is it here?
So you can select it. You can see all the different values. You click one and it's done.
Okay, I think it sounds good, oh?
Yeah, but it's very material, right? So it is very, very Android. If you want to have that same thing for Cupertino, we have to think what the alternative is. I don't know if it's written down here somewhere, but it is a material one. But it's okay, we can start with that, and maybe we can then increase it with the iOS part.
Do you know, guys, any widget or any other widget that we can use so that we can get the best usage for both Android and Cupertino? If you know, please let us know. Otherwise, I will use the drop-down button. Okay, and how should I use that? This is a widget, drop-down button. This is gonna have value, drop-down value, icon, size, elevation, style, underline, and the unchanged. And I will have items, and here I think we can use the category list which you created last time. Yeah? Okay.
Yes, I think that should be the easiest way.
Max,
yes.
I want just to ask something. If you would do that, and this is a new widget for you, and you want just to use it directly, would you just go and copy and paste this one in your app, in your application, and try to adjust it, or would you write everything?
If it would be a new, the thing is, it directly works in your app usually if you do it that way. If the documentation is good and everything. And the big benefit of it is that you can see directly something. The problem is sometimes with that you miss some parts. So if you, for example, if you copy that now, you will most likely miss that variable up here, even though, of course, you need that somewhere, but it will be missing.
Okay.
The other option is that we create it for ourselves, and so we learn it better, because if you do it yourself, you learn a lot more. You remember it, and in your brain it will be sticking easier.
Okay.
So you have these two options. Everyone has its own approach, so go for it.
Okay, I would say I will write everything, even if it's gonna be boring for you guys. Sorry for that, but we'll learn together. So it's gonna be the drop down button. Oh, look at that. Drop down button form field.
Oh, drop down button builder is also there. So we have even the possibility, if we have a lot of different parts, that we can show them part by part. But the form field sounds like the best option.
Or menu item.
No, the menu item is the part that is inside. If you take a look again into the documentation, you will see here that a drop down button contains out of multiple drop down menu items.
Yeah. So, okay. What was that? I would say probably the form field is the best option for us.
The problem with that would be that we currently don't have a form here. We will have in the future, absolutely, because you will make sure that the text field is set, that there is something inside.
But at the moment, we don't have a form.
Yeah, but maybe it's a good idea to add one.
Okay. Oops. So, I will use this one. But before we are going to do, I think I can wrap my column in a form.
Correct.
Right?
And I think you should do that even, because with that, we have the possibility to work with the form everywhere.
It's going to be form.
Yes.
And I think I need some... I thought I need a key.
You need a key, absolutely, yes.
And here we go. I didn't see that, sorry.
Okay.
Okay. I will see again. Okay, this is a key. Creates a container from form fit. Try diagram must not be null. Okay, I need a key, and I think I can create a key here.
Yep, you can do that.
So to be honest, I don't know anymore.
Okay.
How was it? I will jump in the form widget, and let's see how we normally create a form. So we'll have a form with a form key. Oh, you guys know everything. Okay.
Absolutely.
So I will learn it. The key with the form key, and here we have a final form key, the global key, and.
Yeah.
Okay, so great.
But Fabrice or Joseph, I don't know what you prefer, said it absolutely right. We need a stateful widget for that, because suddenly we keep state inside of that widget, and a form is state or some kind of state.
Yes.
We will have also, or we have the provider somewhere running around, and we most certainly will create a provider for that part here, because we have states of recipe name, category name, now with the form, and all these information can be put out into a provider and its own provider. But for now, we start with a stateful widget, and then we extract everything that we need. So we learn the easiest from that.
And we can lift the state after that.
Yes.
Okay, so here we go. And we will have here.
Yep.
So what we need here.
In the meantime, I will look for a widget that we can use in Cupertino.
Okay.
All right.
So we will have here form key, and I will cheat from Joseph. This is a global key. With a form state.
Do you know actually what it does, this line of code that you write right now?
I think this is a key. When I create a I create a key from type global key, right?
Correct.
And I can validate after that with this key my form.
Yes, but you have also the state in it.
It should be in the state class.
Yes, also that is correct.
Okay.
And now you add, first write that line that we come further. So we have here a form state inside. It's okay.
Yeah.
So it's form state.
And it's going to be a form state.
And just for you to remember, if you have a global key, that is very valid for the whole application. So it is unique for the whole application, that key. So if Flutter finds another global key that is exactly the same one, or registers that somewhere, the whole application will fail. That's why it is so important that it's inside its own state, because it has to be get regenerated and dropped always when this application has been, or when this state is getting lost.
Okay.
So that's the first thing. Then the form state gives the information that we have here a state for a form that we want to save in the key. And that's why we can access some things like, for example, is valid later, and we can validate the form. And now you have that form key variable, which is, as you already said, a global key.
And we can use it as a form key here.
Correct.
Okay.
I hope I explain everything correct. If I'm wrong, chat, please rescue me.
And we have already a small icon here for the drop down.
Yes, very good.
Perfect. So now what we need here in our drop-down button form field. We need our items.
Yes.
We need our items, and I would say we can use the items which we created in our, was it in the app provider?
Yes.
Here.
So we have already a provider here, the app provider, and it could provide us the different categories.
Okay. Add recipe, here we go.
Yes. So what type is our items?
Our items are from type category model.
Careful, Mahtab. I asked you, you don't know it. You have to jump into items to see what type it is. We want to know what is inside. So what do we have to provide for the items? Ooh.
It's a list of widgets.
Yeah, and which widgets? If you don't know it, just jump into the API and the documentation once more. There it is.
Okay. You should help me a little bit.
Okay, so we want to take a look down here because we want to add this required parameter.
Yeah.
And it is a list of drop-down menu item of type T. So T is whatever we want to have there, in our case a category model. But what this is a drop-down menu item and a list of that.
Okay. So I can actually...
Oh no, that's all right, Usman. I can give you just a little bit of a round trip. We try to create a recipe app together. And we do that in a pair programming session every Wednesday, sorry. And what we are doing is we create everything together. So we just have a basic idea and we are talking about everything and all questions we answer. We answer ourselves questions. So it will be just a programming session together. And we try to answer questions in the meantime. We explain everything that we do, trying to talk about all the different stuff that we have. And right now we are working on a drop-down menu item because we create a recipe app together, as I said, and we add our recipes now. And for that, we have the possibility to add a recipe name here. And now we want to add also different parts.
Drop-down menu item and...
The recipe dart again. I think we don't have a recipe dart yet, right?
What's the recipe dart?
Favez asked for, oh, no worries, that's all right. Favez asking if we can see the recipe dart again. We can take a look into the provider package. Maybe he means the app provider. So the app provider, that is our own provider that we created the last time. And you want to see the category model at the moment, right? We don't have a recipe dart yet. So that will be in the future one that we have to generate. But what you can do is you can just jump into the category model. And this is our category at the moment. The code will be on GitHub. I think I can share you the link in a second.
Yes, exactly.
All right.
You want to map... Whoa,
so that's a bit different.
You want to map the category model to a drop-down menu item. Okay, so which means I will have here the... No? Slowly. Category.
This is one option.
This is this one. I will have here the list of my different categories, and after that I can here go from app. No? Is it completely wrong?
Yeah, the thing is, what you want to do up in front of here is you want to declare which type of items you want to push inside. So we can keep that away.
Okay.
And you know already that this here inside has to be drop-down menu items, right? So the thing is, for each category that we have inside of our app provider, we want now to create for each of them one drop-down item.
Yes.
And for that, we have to map the list in the app provider to the drop-down menu item.
Okay.
So if you take a look into the example.
Which we had?
Yeah. So you can see we have a list of strings, right?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. And now we map these lists, right? In our case, that would be a category list with category 1, category 2, blah, blah, blah. And now we want to map that to a drop-down menu item from type category model. Okay. And then, as you can see, in the mapping, we return the drop-down menu item with a value and a child.
Okay.
And we just collect them into a list. So that is the cool thing about chainable operators. So the first thing that we have to do is we have to have access to our app provider now.
Okay, which means that we need... What was the name of that? We should wrap our...
We have already an app provider in place and we have already access in the context of that. So we can maybe make a short round trip through everything that everyone is on the same page.
Yeah.
So if we take a look into the main app, we have down here created everything and we have set up here a change notifier and a change notifier provider. And it surrounds with an app provider. That means everything that lives underneath this route, so everything inside of dashboard screen, that means also the other screens, because all of these screens in the widget tree are currently running completely underneath of that, have access to this app provider.
Yeah.
And you have two possible ways to access an app provider or a change notifier provider inside of your context that you have already. One is that you say something like, let me take a look if I find it right away. I scroll a bit
I think
weirdly.
we used that, Max, for our...
Was it here?
Yeah.
No, this is just a page builder. There is nothing. But here we have the app provider. So we have the possibility of a consumer.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, we can see your message, Hamish. Everything is good. So we have the possibility of a consumer and we give the name of the class that we want to receive. And because of this part, it searches for the first app provider that exists in the widget tree.
Yeah.
I think, Christian, Flutter uses always logical pixels. Do you think, Favis? I think it should work or not, because the dashboard screen navigates to the other screens, so everything should be in one part. But we will see. As soon as we use it, it could fail, and then we can just recreate it. The other way that we can use it is, and I think we had it here somewhere. I'm not sure where it is. I think the other option would be that we access it with provider.off context, if you remember. Okay, but I don't find it yet. So the easiest way here would be maybe surrounding this with a consumer.
With the consumer?
Yes.
With the consumer.
For each hint.
From consumer, and we will have the... Let me see. I think that was the app provider.
And I wanted also to share the repository that we created for this project.
Provider.
That's not the one.
Okay. I think that was builder here. And in the builder we will have a context. Am I right? Context with the widget. And we will have a return, which gonna be our...
So what are you doing?
I think, Max...
Careful, Mahtab, slowly. What is a builder?
Don't ask me something like that.
A builder is always a function.
Yeah.
So a builder is a function that that returns something, most likely a widget, right? And it has some parameters inside.
Yes.
One of them is context.
Yeah.
The other one is the thing that the value that you asked for.
Yes.
Right? So in that case, app provider, for example, just a variable name we need now. So app provider is always good. And the last one is the child.
And this one.
Use for loop for 2 different text field and add list of text for each hint. We could do that, I think, but we want to work with controllers most likely later. So I don't know. Yeah, we could do that with the whole for loop thing. But I don't want
I
it to make
think-
it too complicated
Yeah, I
yet,
think
because
it's-
also with the consumer, we have to think about it. But thank you, Amish. We check it out.
Okay. Now.
So
we'll
now we
child.
have the context, app provider, and child, because a builder is always with a context, right? That
Yes.
is very important. And we want to return the drop down button form field. What a name! Yeah, you have to remove that. Yep,
This one.
good.
Let's see.
Okay.
Does it get better?
Now we have inside of the drop down form field. So inside of here, we have now access to the app provider, right?
Yes.
So instead of making a list, an empty one, we remove that for now.
And we'll have our
App provider dot.
Is it the categories?
Yes.
And
So, and now, as Faves already said multiple times, we have to map.
yes. I was not completely wrong. Okay.
Perfect. So, and now inside of a map, we have again exactly method
We have
or a function.
Yeah, we will have a function.
And what does it return?
We will return. Oops, sorry. What does it return? This will return the item. The
Correct.
Drop
down menu
thingy.
item, I think.
Drop down menu item. Here we go.
Don't forget, if you have a map, you always have also a value that you receive, right?
Yes.
It will be
go.
the category itself. Yes.
This one. And I think something will happen here.
Wow.
What's that?
We have 8 viewers and also 8
Okay.
likes. It's very nice with you guys.
The formatter child is required here.
Yes.
Okay. What do I need here for the new item?
What do we have? We have an on tab,
Tab,
we have a value, we have a child. And if we take a look into our API again, I think it's the easiest way. You can see here we have a drop down menu item. He explains which part is inside. It is a string. That is always the value that you pass into it.
And the child gonna be the text with the value that we have in our list.
Correct.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so value and child.
Model view model. Yes. Hotagi, I hope we can do that correctly. It doesn't has to be a string. It can be a string.
Yeah.
It depends on what we want to achieve later.
Okay.
But yeah.
So we
So-
have a value.
What should be the value? Do you can I give you a hint? I think Favis already mentioned the category should be, because we have here multiple categories,
that
so
is
that is not a
better.
value,
Yeah.
it is more a category, just to make sure that we understand what the code says, right? And now we have the possibility to give any value, right? Because you keep that open. You didn't explain which type it is.
Yeah.
So the value can be anything. It's dynamic.
Okay.
So now it's the question, do we want actually to have it dynamic? Or do you want to get something back whenever you click on a drop-down menu item?
Always get something back.
And what do you want to have back? It's just a decision, so
just
you
a
can't do
text.
anything.
Just
So
a
you,
text of
then we want to have a string in that
Yeah.
case. Okay. All right. That's all right. Don't worry too much. That's all good. And inside of the value,
We will have this, and after the child. Okay, that's gonna be our category. Is it right?
it needs to be a string now. So category is an object, but so right, category, exactly. And we want to have the category name inside here.
Yeah. Category, and after that we need the name.
Correct. And now we need additionally the child. And the child is that what the user will see if we click it.
Yes. It's gonna be text.
A text widget, yep.
Text widget. And inside the text widget is the name of our category.
Correct. So okay, so it's still red. So have a look. What is the problem? Where we have to map everything back to a list.
Yes. So here at the end, am I on the right one? I need to list.
Yes. So now we have a list of widgets here.
But we need also unchanged.
Oh, look at that. So Faves was right. We have to register it once more.
Yeah.
For every.
We can't access to our app provider from here.
Yes, the problem seems to be that after we navigated from the main, we lost also track from the dashboard. So actually, this change notifier provider is only accessible for the dashboard screen, but it's not accessible anymore for everything that comes behind that. So
but I thought it's around our whole app. Okay.
I thought the same, to be frank, because that's the reason why I called it app provider for now. But I think that was the reason when we use on-generated route, and then we can have that for the whole application. Or maybe we could even lift it up, but I'm not sure with that. Yeah. So for now, we just have to live with that and have to pass the change notifier for every screen, I think.
Okay. Good. So I will again use a change notifier provider for a new screen.
But I think that will lead to problems in the future, right? Because as far as I see here, we create always a new app provider, right? And if we always create a new app provider, and for every screen we create a new one, for now it's okay, because that would mean that we just override that list, and because everything is hard-coded, we get the information back again.
Yes.
But what do we do if we are here inside and we created new, and another screen, like for example the category screen, added a new one?
Okay.
Then we will fall into a problem, I assume.
Yeah.
Because we lose the track of that. But I think, do you know who has responsible for that? I think Future Max and Future Mahtab. So yeah, let's start with writing it around the screen here.
Okay, and after that we can refactor it.
Yes. Correct.
So
one option would be to create, I think, can we do it here? I don't think so, but we can try. So let's wrap that with a change notifier provider.
Okay. Change notifier provider.
Give it create. Yep.
And
instead of a child, we return. Is it that? No.
Is it not?
Just make a fat arrow and then
on the way.
Yeah, and then say app provider is the name of that.
App provider.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Okay, so that works now.
Now it's work.
So
we have still here the unchanged. I would like just to have a look here.
Yep.
What's going on in the unchanged? We have the new value, set state, and the new value.
So if you take a look more, what is drop-down value and where is it used? Because that is very important for this.
I think that the value is here, the drop-down value.
Correct.
So
and where is the other one? Where is the variable defined?
The variable is defined here, top. So I think this is the default value that it will have.
Yes, correct.
And we will have a drop down value. And when we click here on our field and we open our list with set state, we will change the drop down value here. So that means if I select the second or third or so on, I will change the drop down value here on top. Correct.
So we have to do the same now, right?
So I need here I have here now the category name. So I would say I will create here on top. Do I need it in the state? Yes.
Absolutely. Yes, so, because it is a state.
I will say.
Can it be final?
No, it should be changed. No, let's say. Actually, I can't change it. Or with the final, I can't change it anymore.
Correct.
So I need string, and this is the drop down value. And this, I can leave it empty, but I can also select the first item in my list. Which one is preferred? Or which one is the right one?
I would start with an empty one, just that we have something. But it has to be an empty string in that case.
Yeah, so like that. And value, I should write it right.
Perfect.
And we are coming here to our think it's gonna be here. And now I'm right. We have.
Can I make some small recommendations just to make the code looking a bit more clean? Maybe you see already exactly. Here are the indentations a bit messy, I would say, and then it's getting high, deep, then back and deep again, and so on. So to make that a bit more, do you understand what I mean? So
I think you want to do the linting, right?
No, I don't want to make the linting. The only thing that I recommend, as soon as it starts to get these ugly looking things like that builder, and then it's going deep inside, then it's going back again. So you see it's like a crowd. It's always because of these fat arrows, right?
Oh, okay.
So if you have like more lines of this, I always recommend to create the curly braces in that area. Even though that you always return directly what comes after, but it looks a bit more clean, right?
Okay.
So I would recommend to make the full function and add the return in that case, just to keep the indentation correct. It's
Max,
just my absolutely personal preference, and I think there are a lot of opinions for that.
I will respect your opinion.
I think you have to bring it in, right? Or?
Where should I bring it? I think this is the
Oh
consumer
no, that's
that
fine.
the right one.
And here just
and
return.
I need a return.
So, and if you clean it up now, you see it's getting a bit
so much better.
Yeah, but as I said, it's just maybe here also add a comma. So, and then now it's readable, easy to understand. Everyone knows where we are.
Like this.
Yeah, but this is something else. This is okay because you can read that this is chainable. But what I don't like is if it's getting like, you can see it's always to the right? We have indentation here, and then here, and it's always clean that it's going deeper, deeper, deeper. But usually you don't have something like go deeper and then go out again and then again deeper. It looks odd.
It's not readable.
Yeah.
Good readable. Okay.
It's not for me. I don't know. Other people maybe like it.
It's fine, Max. You can right click on the fat arrow to change it faster.
All right.
Thank you.
I didn't know that.
Next time I will do that. Perfect. So what I wanted to do is to use, here we go. Okay, let me remove here and the drop down value. Okay, I need here the unchanged.
Yes. So the unchanged most likely will give you back again the string that you selected, right?
Yes. So that means I forget always drop down value. Okay, I need a set state here.
Okay.
And in the set state, drop down value gonna be the selected what I select here.
Correct.
Which is the
category name.
Selected category
name.
Just for you, Max.
Yeah, thank you. Correct.
Okay.
So now, so why do we need the set state? Can you explain what does set state does?
I think the set state will take care that the value of our set drop down value will be changed from, for example, here the empty string to the new value that we selected. Okay,
so that's for our specific use case.
Yes.
But what does the set state does in general in Flutter?
It will update the state of the widget.
Very good, exactly. So it will update the state, and what it does is it makes a re-trigger of the build function, because as we know, Flutter is declarative, right? And so the UI that we see on top of our screen is just a function of our state.
Yes.
And that's what is important. So that means whenever we re-trigger our build, which is our function, and our state is that part up here, the drop-down value, we rebuild everything. And so as soon as you change that now, and it understands that the state has changed, it rebuilds the whole UI.
Ah, yeah, okay.
Okay? Just an information for everyone. So cool.
And look at that.
And it seems to work.
It seems to work perfectly. I would say it's a little bit odd that the whole list comes so up.
What I find more odd is that it's working actually, because what we missed
Normally when we create something, it doesn't work, right?
No, but what I see in the API is that our drop-down button form field actually needs a value. As you can see here,
We have it.
this part, drop-down button has a drop-down value. Okay,
It
can you
helps,
show me?
isn't it?
Maybe I didn't recognize it.
We have here an item and we have value.
Yeah, but more careful. This is the list of items, right? So this part is only which items are inside of our drop-down form field. But the form field itself...
we should also have a value here, which is this one.
Yes.
So I think this is...
But most likely it worked already out of the box or something, so... It's so weird food inside.
And I don't want to go to the categories. I don't want to go to categories again. I want to click here and this is what we normally expect.
Yep, so, much better. No, but what do we have here? Failed association.
Drop-down button value, it is 0 or 2 or more. With the same value. So, Max.
Okay, so
we have times.
The problem is that we say that the value is empty at the beginning, right?
Yes.
But what he is complaining about is that the items unequal, where do we have it? There should be exactly one item with the drop-downs buttons value.
Yes.
So we say here that we have the value empty string, right? So here this part. But actually inside of our list that we create of items, this one, we don't have one that has a name called empty string.
Yes.
But we have one with noodles. So if you add here the name noodles, it will work again.
What if I want to have really empty?
Careful, you have to take the first, you have to really write it correctly. So with, what are you doing?
No, sorry.
So one option is that we access the app provider again and take one of the elements there and then just select the first one, for example. And another select option that I would prefer for now, just that we can see again something again and our stuff is not broken. We just enter the word noodles, the big letter in the beginning, in a string. Yeah, go for it. With an S, please, so that we are.
Do we have really something like that?
Well, I thought so. So if I go back, we have your noodles, right?
And it should work? Okay.
Is it wrong written? No. Should work. Here we go.
But something is broken here again.
Yeah, no, it was just because we rebuilt without a hot reload. So the state was not cleared. And if the state was not cleared, this part was still set. So we still had that with an empty string. It failed. That's why. So, but now we have an element inside, and you can see now it's working a bit better.
Yeah.
And what I also like is, even though you say it's not so good, but the cool thing about this material selection is now, if you select, for example, beef, which is very low, right? Then the selection box gets higher, so that the beef is more in the central space for your finger.
Can you scroll it?
No, not yet. If you have enough, I think after 5 or 6 elements, it starts to get scrollable.
Okay.
But yeah, so, and if you select noodles, you can see it's starting also on that part. It's pretty convenient, I think. Okay, but you already mentioned that is not the best option. And now we can do something else. We can make an init state for this. Okay. So because if we hard code it here with noodles and we have later maybe a list with multiple values, right, that we don't know yet, then we have to initialize the state here.
Okay.
Correct. So and what does init state does? Can you explain shortly?
It will initialize the state of our widget.
Of this widget.
This widget, which means when this widget will build for the first time, the value of the different parts of this widget will take from the init state.
Okay.
That means if I'm going now to initialize the drop-down value, drop-down value is the app provider. I want to use it.
Yeah, if you want to use it, and we don't have here a consumer, right, for that provider. So how do we access the provider app state? when we don't have access to a consumer.
How about if I'm going with the app provider.off? No,
Provider.off, correct.
That was the provider.off.
So now inside of that off, or before that off, you have to define
what
type.
Is it?
Exactly.
And this is the app provider.
Correct.
Okay.
And now we have to say listen false, because this method don't want to listen to changes that inside of the app provider happens.
Yes, but I want actually, doesn't it? I thought I want the first.
You do everything absolutely correct.
Okay, so.
But careful, Mahtab. Categories is a list of objects.
Yes.
You want to access the first object.
One. So, wait. I'm on the way.
I know, on the keyboard it's always more heavy than on the side.
So, I want to...
Okay, yep.
To go for the first
and
one.
And now you want to have the name, right?
Yes. And now we are going to have the name.
Cool. And Fabez already said to you, and me too, we have to make listen false in that area. Because this part don't want to listen to changes of the app provider. It just want to access something inside.
Okay.
So behind of the context, we have to pass another, go one to the left, and we have to add here one thing, listen false.
This will help me. This doesn't listen to my changes, and if I change something, it doesn't.
It just don't re-trigger. Yes. If you jump into the app provider.
Let me just. Here we go.
Yes. Inside of the app provider, whenever we add a category down here, we would notify the listeners. And notify listeners is like it's like you bring everything down the widget tree and you inform all the different parts of your application. Something has changed inside of this provider.
Yes.
So all these different parts would start to recreate, right? And if you would recreate this method inside of init state, then Flutter framework would drive crazy because it makes no sense to update that. So with that, we have the necessity of this listen.false.
Okay.
If we would do it, we get an error message.
Okay. So, perfect.
Yeah, and Fabez gives you also another info, which I also like, is Command P.
Command P.
And it gives you the information what you can enter inside of the parameter list.
Perfect. I use Windows, so I wouldn't know. It works.
Yeah, perfect.
So, no worries. Command P, and I can see what can I use as a parameter here. I'm just sometimes too lazy, I would say.
It's not good.
Okay, no, not really. Okay, so.
Amazing. Okay.
Guys, we can use here. We will have chicken.
We have chicken.
With rice, for example. It's too much chicken. And last but not least, I think we will need a placeholder. A container with a...
We did now a lot. So I would maybe shortly make a recap so that we all can take a little bit of a breather. Is this okay?
Yes, go for it.
So what did we do? We created a recipe name text field, which should be actually a text form field, right? Because we added also a form in the meantime. So we created a form. And why did we create a form? Because we want in the later parts, when we add one of these things, you don't have to add anything.
No.
We want to have in the later parts a submit button or something. And if we click on it, we want, we want to validate all the different fields. And if something is wrong, we want to give an error message to our users, of course. So in the meantime, we created all this. That's why we use a so-called form parts. So all the different things that could have user interaction has two possible ways. One is, for example, text field. And as soon as there is a form that surrounds it, we have a text form field.
Yes.
A same thing for the drop-down button form field, right? We had also the opportunity to use a drop-down button field.
Yes, but with the form we can validate it later.
Correct. So we have better, easier access to that form, or better to that form key, and we can validate later if this is correct entered or not. Even though I think the drop-down button form field is very secure for us, because here is nothing to validate, because we say we use always the first categories, which most likely will break at any time of the thing.
Okay.
Because what happens if we don't have an item in the list?
But we will provide it, actually.
Not necessary. If we remove all of them and we don't have a category yet, then it would break.
Yeah,
but that's not of our concern yet. At the moment, we have a list with these categories and we want to add that to them. And yeah, so this is what the form part does, right? And then we accessed our app provider with the categories again, and we mapped all of them. And yeah, this is how far we come so far. And I would say, as you said, the next step would be to create this nice little box here with, I think, a photo icon or something in the middle. And if we click it, we want to replace it by an image.
Yeah.
And last but not least, we work with the submit button.
Yes.
So we have a half an hour, so let's go.
Perfect. So it's going to be here. I will create a container. With the height for now, for example, 200, and also a width 200. You don't want to have hard-coded?
Correct.
Probably.
Why? The question is, we don't have a reason for that yet, right? We can just...
I will go with the media query.
No, just leave it alone. We don't have to do that, because we just want to have a container where we have an image later inside.
Yes, but the measure of a container should be defined.
We can define them as soon as we have a problem with them, right? As we don't have to make it hard-coded and then responsive again.
Okay.
Just as a easy solution there. So for now, just start with adding a child, like for example an icon, and then go further. And if you need a height specifically, then we can add that.
Okay. How does should be look like? Nothing.
It's just what I would like is that we have here inside of an icon, right?
Okay, so to select something.
Yes.
Icon, and we will have an icons, and maybe do we have something like photo? Here we go. Oh.
Yeah, gallery is that in that case. Can you search for camera? I think
this is better, or this one is better.
Okay, as you like. Good. So, and now we can start to style it, right? If you want to have it higher, if you want to have a specific height, width or something, then now it's the time.
Okay. And I want to give it size, probably 24.
Ooh, I don't know what happens here.
Okay. And now I would like to align it in the middle of our container, and I would say I use it. The margin constraint box. I don't know why, Max, but I don't like it. I want to do that.
Okay, so do it. But why a width? Is there a reason for that? So you don't explain the problem with that I have with this information right now. The user wouldn't have any clue where he can click, because down here there is nothing at the moment. The object starts first here somewhere in between, right?
Yeah, okay, it's just our icon.
Correct. So the question is why, right? So do you want to make it explicit? Then it needs a border at least, right? And it also needs like, some sort of this.
Some sort. Or should the user be, should it be possible to select an area, so that I need a gesture detector to select a photo?
I think you can use the inkwell for now.
Or the inkwell? Okay. Inkwell. And
or an icon button is also possible, yeah.
Okay, I need the untap. I think so. And now Okay.
Exactly. Now you see the area at least,
Yes.
you know, if you click it. But I think we can try to use that icon button, for example. Maybe we can use that a bit better.
Or maybe we can use, instead of container, the icon button for the whole one.
But do you want to wrap an inkwell inside of an icon button inside of an inkwell? Both have an on tab method.
I tab also. Okay.
Yeah, so I would just remove the inkwell. Huh? The icon stays, Mahtab.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Instead of an inkwell, we need an icon.
We can use an icon button. It's just a possibility, right? All of these are solutions. We are all solutions. So we just need the right one for us, or we just want to try a bit around in our case.
Make me crazy.
I know. So the icon button has an icon.
Yes. So it should be something like that, and come here.
Yes, something like that. Cool.
And for sure I need, sorry.
No worries.
Just a minute. Item 1 is unpressed is required.
If you use more the option and return key, you can remove that on pressed once more. Go once more on the icon button with your cursor. And if you now use exactly, and now you press it again, it will be added already, so you don't have to write everything yourself. Good. And now what do we want to do when we on-press something? Okay,
when we unpress something, we want to open the gallery of the Android or iOS.
Okay.
Or phone.
So sound something where we have a package in pub.dev.
Do you think?
I'm pretty sure.
Open gallery Flutter. How to open phone gallery? Okay, I think it's the image picker.
Yeah.
Using the camera. I will see in the Stack Overflow what's going on here.
But okay.
The image picker. Yeah, I already use it for one of the apps.
In multiple apps, I think I used it already. It's pretty good.
Okay.
It's really a good library. Also, the source code is really informative. So if you want to know more about how you can create a plugin for Android or iOS, I highly recommend you plugins like this. You can read a lot how these things are working, how you access the correct source code, so the right code from iOS or Android. It's really interesting.
Great. So, sorry guys.
Okay, we take the dependency, put them in the pubspec.yaml.
Going to the pubspec.yaml. This is a dev dependency, right?
No, it's a real dependency. Yeah, because the image gallery is something that you want to do in production, right?
Yes.
Cool. Okay. So in the meantime, I can pub-get, right, that we can work with that. And we have an error here in our file. Can we find this error and solve it?
I think I should do something here.
That looks weird. Do we have maybe a... I think that bracelet is wrong. Just remove it.
I think I don't need... Okay. Now I can... Okay. Line.
Correct.
Right. So let's see how should I use it.
So what do we have here? We have an installation information. So we have to add some keys, right, for iOS. Careful. Go slowly. We have to read it, unfortunately. So it's a package that has a bit more installation progress, right?
Okay.
We can't just use the example here. Even though it sounds very easy, we have to do a bit more for that. So for example, we have the iOS installation path, right? So for iOS, we need different permissions of the device, so to use it. But we use at the moment Android, right? And we have two options here. We have one with the API 29 and higher, and the other one API lower 29.
Yes.
And it says that we have, for the lower parts, we have to add the request legacy external storage true. Attribute tag in the manifest Android manifest XML.
Yes.
So the question is, which version of Android do we have?
It's a good question.
So
I don't know.
we jump back to the Android Studio. And if we take a look into the Android part here, it should be inside of settings, Gradle. No, inside of, this is always a search for me because I should know where it is. But the compiled version is at the moment 28.
What was the version after?
I don't know. We have to go in the API again. Somehow my bar is not. Okay, here it is. Okay. So exactly. So 29 and higher is the version. Then it will work out of the box.
Okay, and we have 28.
Correct.
So what should we do when it's
this part, right? Because we are lower than.
So Android requests legacy external storage to true as an attribute to the application tag in Android manifest.
Correct. So we go to the Android manifest. Maybe inside of the debug and the main we will find one. The main one will be used for release builds, for example. Profile is if you make speed tests. And debug is that one that we usually use if we just build it with hot reload.
Okay, so for now I will go with this one. Or should it do for all of them?
I think we can just use this one because it has the only one with the applications part. So we'll always use this, and then it just adds these information from these two.
Okay, so this one. And what was the name of? I think
you have to copy the whole line, right? So with Android, with everything, you need all of them. Yes.
I thought it's gonna be not true, and I should set it to.
So, and we have to add it to.
We have to add it to the application tag.
So where's the application tag?
Here.
Okay, and now add it as an attribute.
It's gonna be here, or?
Like in HTML, yep. Good.
So, here we go.
I would recommend to start up the application completely if you change something there.
Yeah?
Yeah.
This is.
Oh, you can just close it. The errors here, don't worry about it. I don't know. It's a good question. We have to ask the Flutter team for that, I think. But most likely it is because we don't run Gradle. So if we would start up the Android, the Android Studio inside of the project, it could work even.
Good. So we are good to go with Android.
Yes.
And now the next part is.
We can use the example.
We can use the example. Okay, so.
Do you have questions, guys? Can we answer something in the meantime? We are just talking for ourselves and develop for ourselves, but hey, you are the central. So if you have questions or if you want that we do something in a different way, just tell us. Give us feedback. We want to know.
So I can use here the image picker that pick image with the camera. So in our example, we have here in the unpress method, we have a method, a function, and this is with the image picker. So I will use this one directly in my, I would think that was also unpress.
Correct. Yep.
In the image picker. Here we go.
Perfect, Fabrice. But for how do you like Flutter so far?
Flutter plugin Android lifecycle couldn't be revealed due to the issue above. Which issue? Here we go.
Not found in the Flutter plugin Android lifecycle. Ooh, that's interesting.
Okay, we have some errors.
Ah, look at that. Error attribute. So it seems that what we added is not happy with it. So inside of the Android manifest XML.
This is here, Max.
Okay, so
I put it here.
Maybe we have to remove it again. Maybe we are already in a newer version or it's not necessary anymore. Let's try it without. Just remove it and just try it without that. And if it's not working, then interesting.
Or maybe I'm on the wrong place I added, but actually
That could
I
be,
said
but
application.
maybe it's not part of the problem of the application. Maybe it's a problem of the device. So
Oh, yeah,
maybe the
okay.
device is already on API 29,
Okay.
and maybe that's the reason. Okay, so let's try to access the image gallery now. Oh, what is that again?
It's again the app provider.
Ooh. Ah, in the
Okay.
init state, because the init
We
state
have
tries
the
to access
init
it. Okay.
state, and we don't have the app provider when it builds.
Yes, I think that is the issue. So one solution would be that we bring the create method of the app provider one level higher.
Okay.
Or what we also could do is that we say we just don't set the value. We leave the value empty.
Like before.
Yes. But
For
I
now,
think
at screen.
but that would be not a nice solution. I would say, where do we create this add recipe screen? That happens inside of the dashboard screen, I think, right?
Yes. When
So-
we have
Here.
after click.
Correct.
Method.
All good. But I would add the add change notifier provider around
Here.
of this just
Yes.
to make it, yeah, that it works also with the set state, init state.
What is it?
Change notifier provider.
Change notifier provider.
From type. Ooh. Can we? Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. From type app state.
Yep.
App provider. And now we need a create method.
We will have a create method, and we will have a.
Careful, it gets a context
We will have. I forget it always. Okay.
and it returns.
I need the app.
No, this is not a consumer. It is the notifier creation.
Okay.
So it has only a context. And don't
And-
forget, Command P will help you here, right? So exactly. So, or not really.
Not really.
Okay, but it has just a
that's
context and it
context
returns an app provider.
Right.
No, it
No.
has the parameter is just a
The
context, and we
Wait,
return
wait,
an app
wait.
provider.
I'm on the way. Okay, so here, like this.
No. So we wrote that seconds ago. We return an app provider, please.
App
We create a
provider.
new instance of app provider. Make a comma behind. Yes. If we jump inside of the add recipes screen now,
We can remove.
we have to remove the change notifier
Notifier
provider here. So, and now you can restart the app with the hot reload and everything. Yep.
Here you go.
I think that should solve the issue, hopefully. So if we navigate now inside, here we go. Now it works.
Better.
Because what was wrong is this part actually, yeah, because it didn't had access on the context on the app provider because there was no app provider.
Yes.
But now we have that on the way. Okay, but now
So
we
we
have
ha-
the access.
Okay, we have now the access, and we can go to for the image picker.
Yes.
So we have here our icon button, and we can here go for the image picker dot pick image, and our source. What was here the example? The source is image source dot camera. Camera. Oh, let's see what's going on.
Ooh, cool.
Something happened here.
Okay, so you selected the camera in that area. So that means you
Okay.
would make an image right away,
Yes,
right?
but I want actually to have the gallery. This is somehow weird because.
What?
Okay. No, it's not weird.
Okay.
It's a little bit weird. Okay, it's fine.
Now it's asking
I will
you for
allow.
permissions to access it. So that would also explain why it's the higher version. Okay. And now it's done.
And now it's done.
So
Great. What do you want to do?
Nothing. I just listen to your words.
Okay. The next step is to show the image here.
Okay. So we actually have to replace the icon button itself, right, with the image.
Yes, which gonna be here. I can probably use an if else.
Yeah. Do we have a child inside of an icon button? No, I don't think so, right?
We don't have. We have directly the icon. But what I can do is, for example, use a container with child, and when we don't have an image, we can show the icon, and if the image is there, we can show the image.
You can try that
instead of an icon button. So
how do we access actually that image now? Is that what do we get back from this image picker pick image thing? And how could we show that image? Is there something in the example of the documentation?
Let's see. Floating action. This is the image file, I think, is it? And it's the image. The image is here, and this is the file.
Okay, so we get a file back from the image picker.
Yes.
Okay, then I mean this example looks nearly exactly like that thing that we need, right? So perfect. Let's try that.
So we can go directly. This is in the app bar, so I will just use a container instead of that.
Why a container? We want to say instead of an icon button, we want to have something else, right?
Yeah.
And you just you want to have a container. Child. Okay, I understand. Cool.
China, and now I would say something like I can use here again.
Yes, you can do that, but careful, Mahtab. What is our goal?
We want to show the icon.
Yes, and
if we don't have an image, and we want to show the image we want to show an image if we already selected an image.
Yes.
And we want to show the icon if we didn't select an image.
Amazing, correct. So this is our goal. So we don't need that container. We want to say icon or image.
Yes, but can I do it if else here directly without a
Sure, because we are living inside of a column. Don't forget, we are already in a widget. We work already in a widget. So now, first we need to condition. So how can we know if we have an image or we don't have an image?
Okay, we know now that the image is from type file.
Correct.
So I will create a variable at first for that.
Go for it.
And now we're going to the question here. We will have an image. Okay, from type file.
Here, careful. We don't want to have file from HTML. We want it from IO.
Oh, okay.
So input, output.
Yes. So here we go. And now I can set something like, if the image not empty, I need, for example, an image. No.
It's nice that you say it, but you have to write it. So if it is null, right, this is your question.
If it's null, I need the icon button.
But the question mark is the condition, the solution of the condition, right? You have to write the condition full. So image equal null, right?
Yes.
It's really difficult on the keyboard. I know exactly how you feel. So stay.
If the image is null,
correct.
So now, if the image is null, I want to have the icon button.
Correct.
And okay, and if the image is not null, I want, for example, to have an image.
You can use the constructor here, like in the example.
What is this one?
So image.file.
Ah, yeah, here we go. Image.file, and this is with the image, right?
Correct. Yes, because the image itself is just a file. Perfect.
Perfect. Okay, so.
Okay, easy enough. So, and the next thing is, or that would work perfectly, but unfortunately image is at the moment always empty. So how can we do it that it's not empty?
So we should, oops, here we go. We will select it, and when we select it, we should change our variable.
Correct.
Which means here, when we unpress image, this is gonna be the source. Okay, the value of this.
Yeah.
No. Do we get a value here?
No.
Or is the callback?
Where do we get the file back from?
Here, I think.
Yes, correct. From the pick image, right?
So I will just do like that.
That would be one solution.
But this is a file, and I need the value of that.
It's a future, and you need the value of that.
Okay. Just before I do too much, I want to see what's going on here.
No worries. The documentation is always our friends.
Okay, that means I have future. I need this other async.
Yes.
Wait.
Correct. Amazing.
Okay. So
nothing stops us from using VS Code. We just don't do it here in that episode. Usually we use it always for the videos, and here we work with IntelliJ.
To be honest, I like more Android. It's true.
It's a believing fight. I think both is fine. Both works good.
Okay, now I change the value of our image.
Yes. Okay. Perfect.
And see what's going on. Nothing.
Nothing. What did we miss? We have now the image. The value is set.
And we need the set state.
Correct, because we want to rebuild the app. Careful.
When I select the image, after that, I should call the set state to change the value.
Correct, yes. And why can't we surround this part here with a set state?
Because it's the future.
A set state can't be asynchronous. It needs to be synchronous. So we have to wait till the pick image is ready, and after that we can execute set state.
Okay, so that means after that.
Yes, we used in that case a set, icon button at basic, but we can change that later.
Yes.
Yes, perfect.
And
that's already, that's good enough.
Okay, so let's see. And if I'm going for that.
Here we go. Perfect.
Right, it's something weird happened here, but
we just discussed it with the group, and icon button was the thing that comes by. We can replace it with an inkwell, but that's just how we use it at the moment.
And the last part is a submit button, guys.
Okay.
And after that, we are finished. And I would say what we can use is here flat button, maybe.
Flat button, raise button.
I think I will be happy with flat button.
Inkwell. We can use an inkwell, sure. But let's start with the flat button here and finish that off. Then Mahtab is a bit relieved for today, because then we achieved our goal.
I need here text with, was it submit? No.
Let's call it submit for now.
What was something else, Max? No, that's submit. Submit.
Yes.
Okay. I need a color for that. Colors.
What would be the best strategy to use a color here?
To have a cons?
No. Wait, slowly. We have already set colors, right? In a theme, we created a theme a week ago. And in that theme, we want now to access that theme.
Did we do that? The color pink.
Yes, exactly. I think it was pink. So
was it?
I don't know exactly, but how can we access the theme in that area and use the color that we have in the theme defined?
Oh my god, I don't know anymore. That was a
theme.
Wait. Theme of.
Yes.
And
now we have the different colors. We have primary color, accent color, and so on. And I would just use
the primary color for now.
Yeah, okay. So it's blue, okay. Didn't we change that the last time? I'm not sure if we didn't change that the last time, or was it the right project?
I would say we didn't do that here, but you said, I thought, no, the primary.
Oh, all right. So it was a different project. I'm very sorry. It's my Saturday project that I work on with the other group.
Max. It's fine.
Okay, so you can choose your pink color or color whatever you like.
I love pink.
You love pink? Serious?
No, not really. Okay.
Okay. So we got that. Yeah.
So we got that. And now you're mostly finished.
I would like to have that submit button on the bottom.
On the bottom?
Yeah. On the bottom of the screen, so that if I have a thumb that I can easier push it.
I understand you. But I would say I will go to the column in the main axis alignment. I will just space between. Space around is a bit better. I think I love it. No.
You will not be happy with that because you want to collect these two and then you want to have them. So you can do that. Yeah. What you also could do is to collect these two together in a column. Then it would work also better.
Yes, and put these three in a column. Use as padding, bottom, SSS. Okay,
yeah.
so feel.
A padding in a child would be also possible. You could have sized boxes, right? Everything are possibilities here.
You guys don't like this one?
I think for the last 4 minutes, it's perfectly fine.
Okay, what we want to do is now...
Yes, I think the expanded one was that what I would suggest, but that's all right. We can do that.
Which one? What did you want?
Just to have, because the submit button should be on the bottom, right? So we could also have an expanded widget in between of these two, between the image and the bottom itself.
Okay.
So we could create like the space that we want. But I wouldn't do it today.
Okay.
I would say we wrap up this episode today.
And next time we will...
Yes, we will have a lot to do.
Evaluate our form.
Exactly. We want to validate our form.
Evaluate.
We want to add actually a category. We want to add our recipe to an SQL database, most likely. We want to improve all our stuff.
Yes.
And
we have still much to do.
Yes. In the meantime, thank you very much, everyone, for joining us today. If you have any questions, as always, let us know so we can improve. If you have some feedback for us, how we can do better, please let us know.
Yes, we can improve always.
Yes, and we want to improve always. Yeah.
And there's nothing to say.
Thank you very much. Like that episode. And maybe one announcement. We created a website now for our streams. So whenever we stream, we will add this website to our Twitter handle. I think I posted it right now. Maybe you can see it already. I don't know if you are interested in something like that, but I found it pretty cool, to be honest. And let's see how it works in the future and how much we work there with it.
Click on the link and give us your feedback.
Yeah, would be amazing. All right.
Have a great day.
Have a great day.
See you next time.
See ya. Till next week. Bye. So how does it work? Perfect. Stream.